Roll call? Roll call?
For roll call, it's just stating
Okay.
everyone that's in attendance except anyone that's excused.
Okay, everybody is in attendance except trustee Lockhurst, who has been excused. And I want to welcome Jessica to her first board meeting as a trustee. So any questions you have, feel free to ask during our meeting. Statement of public notice, has this meeting been publicly noticed?
It has.
Okay, so number 4, the agenda item is discuss communication management policy, introduction, and chapters 1 through 3. I'll turn it over to our village manager.
And I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Village Manager.
I'm sure,
Oliver.
Becky, I'm sure you'll probably interject once in a while. too.
You bet.
So here's how I'm thinking tonight will work. And Jessica, just to get you up to speed, about a month or 2 ago, we had trustees submit questions that you wanted to discuss based on your review of the draft. So those are the questions that you submitted are in the memo. So I'm hoping that we can just go one by one. We have a goal of a 5-minute discussion for each unless more time is warranted. But those are the items that you individually have identified that you want to talk a little bit more about before we bring it to the board. So, and then at the end, if there's any other questions that are not on that list, that would be the time that we could certainly visit those too.
Do you want to ask now if any trustee has questions to add, or do you want to just tackle it?
If we could just tackle it at the end, that'd be great. So, because I'm wondering if maybe our discussion might answer some of those. So with that being said, I'll move to the first question. All these questions are on the email policy. So the first question is, should the municipal judge have an official village email account? Currently, our municipal judge has been using their own personal email account for village business. So that would be maybe more of a procedural thing, but that would be a procedural change that we could easily accommodate.
I think he should have an email account. He's an elected official, and why not?
I agree too. Has he been asked? Has he been asked?
I'm sure he'd be happy to.
Agreed.
Okay.
I agree.
I put yes for that one and move forward. Great. So number 2 is asking what specific language should be included on staff and officials, not bicarbonate, but I always want to put bicarbonate.
I know.
Which is like way back, what, 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Blind copy others on an email. So this was an inquiry that came up that, if you are going to blind copy someone, or should that be allowed? So are there any general thoughts on that at all?
Did you put it in the text somewhere?
There's nothing in the text right now about blind copy.
I thought we talked about it and agreed that we should have something in there about just not to do it.
I didn't know if there was agreement or not, so, but if there's agreement, I can easily just add a sentence saying, that, I think the only time we blind copy people is if for some reason to keep emails confidential, or if there's a business reason, such as the example Leanne mentioned, if you're setting out for bids or RFPs or something like that, you don't want to let know who the other people are.
Oh.
So that would be a business reason why we would do that. So I think those would be kind of the 2 exceptions I would probably
I agree with
add
that.
in.
You got a citizens group and it's all their personal email accounts.
Right, like the
You don't
Citizens
wanna-
Academy is a perfect
Right, you don't
example.
want to be broadcast.
I would blind copy that. Yeah. So with those being kind of the 2 exceptions I could add, are we all okay with that?
What's the other exception?
The business reason.
You mean, you mentioned RFP and not wanting to let other.
Oh, the other would then be what Trustee Mocker was
Citizens.
referring to. Yeah. If there's a citizen group that, that they would, not, want their email account. Like another example would be the organics collection. Like, there's 100 participants. I don't think they want their email accounts to be known by the other 99 participants.
Well, they haven't given consent,
Yeah.
so
So I could say distribution groups that have not given consent or something like that.
I Does anyone else have comments on that? Okay, I have a concern over committee members. So when, like, organics program to me, yes, I mean, it's a program, you're signing up for a service, and I feel like that you don't need to be giving out people's emails addresses. But if you're on a committee, I find it really helpful when, if you're gonna send out something to Wilson Drive Task Force, or you're gonna send something out to Conservation Committee, I really do find it helpful that all the emails are on there. They are formal committees. Maybe we take an extra step to allow them to, you know, sign off on it. I don't know what the answer is yet, but I do feel it's very important because I want to know that the whole committee has been emailed the same, you know, so it's kind of like where you,
So that's a great segue to number 3 about the volunteer committees,
Oh, okay.
right? So with the volunteer committees, yeah, right now, we just have their private email, and just so you all know what the current practice is that an inquiry comes into staff, and then staff forwards it out to the citizen committees. So that's typically how they are communicated with. So there's, on the website, we don't provide any email information for them. The only emails provided is the staff liaison.
That's what I would prefer. I would like that the other. I had a comment on that. I was looking at the website today, and like on Plan Commission, it lists all the plan commissioners, and then it says staff, BART, and there's a link to get to BART. But there's nothing on the website saying, if you would like to contact each of the plan commissioners, here's how you do it. So I think we should be explicit about, I mean, I agree, and I know people on committees don't necessarily want their personal emails on the website, and I can get that, but let's be explicit that there is an avenue for contacting people.
And that if they're emailed, just following on that, if they're emailed, we should also send a reminder, especially maybe as we transition, that when that group, when they do send an email, the committee needs to remember that they're still a part of the public record. There can't be walking quorums, there can't be additional discussions, and that if they are sending information for purposes of village business, that they should be copying the village account, so it becomes a part of our public record correspondence.
Were we gonna have them just copy the staff liaison, or are we setting up like a plan commission
Good
email?
question for, I guess, from you, I apologize, Tyler, I didn't ask you about this. Do we have one account, like an info account or anything like that?
Not right now.
Okay, if
No.
not, I would say maybe the.
There's
staff
not,
liaison.
right now, and what I put right now is the language, is that anytime they communicate any committee business, that they would copy the staff liaison.
Okay.
So that's what's included right now in the policy.
is everyone clear about who that staff liaison is? So like CDA? Is it the village manager? I just wanted to.
It would be the village, yeah, well, the village manager is the executive director, but I think we still have the staff liaison as Bart, who takes care of a lot of the administrative tasks associated with it, so,
So it would be continued to be Bart.
Maybe we have a list.
Yes.
just to
Oh,
say,
sure.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, just so they're clear
Yeah.
on who it is, so it's
Yeah.
not going to you and then going to Bart. And
Sure.
people, I know there's 2 on some committees. Some people are liaisons as trustees and some people are, you know, and then some are actually staff. So just to be clear on who that CC goes to. We did discuss having the email of the chair of committees public, and I don't know whether we have a decision on that. So,
I think it can go through the staff liaison and then they can work with the chair.
everyone okay with that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, but, you know, I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page with trustee Mentz's idea. I mean, kind of including that direction on the website,
Oh,
or that
absolutely.
description.
That's a great suggestion.
And we have a kind of a general template we use for each committee, so there's kind of a common look to it. So that's a very simple thing that we could do for each one. So
Encouraging.
I can include that in my notes to also do,
I
so.
think we also, when we have an orientation for each, I know Nathan went around last year to talk to each group, but I think that was more around quorum issues, but that, I think they all need to realize if they are using their personal email and there's a Freedom of Information Act request, that they're their personal email, someone is gonna be looking at all of their personal emails and their personal, or I don't know, would the appointed person provide on their own what they feel is, or would somebody review all of their emails?
Right, no, that's a great question. And the way that it's written, an official is the legal custodian, you're the legal custodian of your own records of your office or your appointed position. But I'll give you an example of the conversation I had with the chief when he started. He said, should I really carry 2 phones, or can I just carry one? And I said, well, here's the deal. If somebody makes an open records request and you're conducting all your official business on this phone, we can just hand it over and say you can download whatever you want. Everything on there is public related, it's public record, there's no issue. If you keep one phone and you've got your own personal stuff on there and the public records on there, someone's gonna have to go through and sift out and run a search and figure out what's responsive to the request and what's public versus what's private. And if you've got, information on there about something that happened, in your private life or whatever, and you've got somebody that's really prying and pushing and having the court do some kind of an in-camera review, then you potentially expose all that stuff. It just makes it a lot cleaner if you've got one account. So if somebody shoots an email out on their private email because for some reason the server was down here or whatever, that's not a big deal. We can always recover a few of those. It just makes it easier for purposes of compiling information that could be responsive to a public records request. If we can say, nope, I conducted all my business through the server. Anything that I did is recorded on there pursuant to a process that our IT department produced, and it's recorded on the server, and we can run a search and find all that stuff.
So if we had an open records request and the committees were instructed when they respond to CC the staff liaison, are you saying that then you would just use what the staff liaison had in their email box?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely, yep.
So that has to be clear to them. It's
You
definitely
need to
in
write
their
up
interest,
your-
anything they do that
Give
they're.
you member orientation.
One of the questions I just wrote down is, do we do any member orientation? I don't know.
No, but it's,
Not yet.
Okay.
it's a big.
Yeah, so staff, in the past, we've asked staff liaisons to meet with, and I don't even know if all staff liaisons do it,
Right.
but to meet with,
Okay.
a new member or kind of go through, so like when, Jenny, Jenny's in the audience, I hope it's okay that I mentioned, when she joined Parks Commission, I sent her a welcome email,
Sure.
and then, just some things, and then when
Okay.
I met with her the first time, just go through some of those points. But we could certainly do a more formal orientation, and I think the benefit of that is everyone's hearing the same information at once, right? So, I don't know if it's something that we need to put in the policy, but it's a good side note for us to do, once we do this next round of recruitment for committee.
That's a good takeaway for us as staff.
Okay.
That's very positive.
Okay. So moving along to David's comment here about open meetings and public records. That's actually question 4. One of the things I asked Nathan in between meetings was to include some language on confidential emails and provide more direction on that. Nathan, would you be able to kind of summarize that?
Sure. And if you look at, page 5,
It is. Well, or page 6 maybe.
under subject to public records and open meetings.
Oh, sorry, that's page 5.
Where we massage some of the language under public records law and open meetings law. I think what we want, not only committee members and all elected officials and staff, but the public to know as well, is that the public records law is of course very broad, and it even says in statute, the policy of this is to preserve records for review, and that the statute will be interpreted broadly. And so we wanted to incorporate that type of language in subsection 1 that talks about the public records law. And we make specific reference to a couple of statutes there. We didn't want to include every single subsection of that because sometimes the statutes are renumbered or the subsections are renumbered or massaged, depending on what is defined as a public record versus what is not defined as a public record. But we wanted to tell everybody, this is where you can go find it in the statutes. An example of one thing that they've changed in recent history, in the last few years, is now drafts, personal notes, and personal emails relating to drafts of something that you might be working on is no longer a public record under the statute, and that's one of the changes that we're introducing. But again, under subsection 1, we wanted to have a pretty good and pretty broad description of what constitutes a public record. And then under the open meetings law, as you mentioned earlier, we wanted to avoid having a walking quorum or having a meeting on paper, if you will, by the exchange of emails. Email is a wonderful, wonderful thing for the relaying of information. Enclosed please find is always a wonderful phrase. Here's some documents that are relating to the agenda items set for next week. Here's some additional supplement to research on the resolution or the ordinance that we're working on. Enclosed please find. The only really where you run into problems is somebody writes back and says, you know, I like subsection B, but I don't like subsection D. Let's change this, let's change that. And then you get into a lengthy discussion on it, and now someone could argue that what we're doing is